Hello ladies and gentlemen of MISD, and welcome to this quick tutorial on learning.com. So what is learning.com, you might be asking? Well, if you haven't heard, recently there have been some changes and updates to the technology TEKS for the state of Texas, and learning.com is our brand new district purchase curriculum. It's a K-8 curriculum that's going to allow you to teach completely aligned to those updated technology TEKS. And the best part about it is it's all gamified, it's very easy to use, and learning.com is an all-online curriculum. The students can get to it straight from their class link, and it covers specifically digital citizenship, computational thinking, keyboarding, and coding. So there's so much that we could dive into with learning.com, so stay tuned for some future tutorials. For today, what we want to do is just focus on getting you and your students set up in TechQuest, which is a part in learning.com, so that you and your students can be SIPA compliant. And we're doing this for the month of October, which is our Digital Citizenship Month. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so here we are on the Digital Citizenship page. You can get to this page by visiting midlandisd.net/digital citizenship. You can also get to this page from our main technology integration page, and there you'll see a button that says Digital Citizenship. And here on this page, you'll see there's just a little bit more explaining about SIPA compliance and why we have to do that. And then also it explains that you would just check that off on your vector solutions once your students have completed the required lessons. And for most grades, there's only 2 to 3 or 4, I think at the most, of those lessons that are required. Here, if you go through the learning.com route, there are some buttons that you can click on. And if we click on one of those, I'll show you what it looks like. It just gives you a pop-up window that will show you the specific lessons that the students need to take. And like I said before, the teachers don't even have to assign these. I'll show you how to get to those here in just a second. If we go back, though, to the Digital Citizenship page, you will see that there are 2 different routes you can take. Now, learning.com, like I had said earlier, is our K-8 curriculum. So that's a brand new K-8 curriculum. But over here on the right side of the column, you will also see another option that you can take. And this is going to be more for our high school teachers and students. And this is our Common Sense Media video playlist. And either one of these routes that you take will ensure that you are SIPA compliant. But just keep in mind that the learning.com is more of our K-8, whereas the right side is going to be more for high school. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is go into my class link, scroll down until I see learning.com. You should already have it, as well as the students. It's this little pink tile with the cartoon, and we're just going to click into that. Okay, so we're here in the student view. This is the first thing that the student will see. If they've never logged in before, they'll probably get a quick animation that looks something like this.
Hi there, I'm Ollie the Owl. I'm so glad that you're here to join me on this fun learning adventure.
Okay, and the next thing you'll notice is that in the student's view, there are these little tiles or stepping stones that they are supposed to progress from one lesson to the next. And you can see here that the lessons correspond to those buttons on the website that will tell you which of the lessons the students need to do. Usually it's only about 3 or 4 of them. We can see Introduction to Digital Citizenship, Cyberbullying, Online Safety, and some of those other lessons. And you can see this first lesson has already been unlocked, or maybe the student has already done that first lesson. And you'll also notice that up at the top next to the student's name, that Israel here has already gone into his TechQuest. And that's because by default, the student will be inside of TechQuest to be able to take those digital citizenship lessons if the teacher has not assigned anything. So you might be wondering, well, what if the teacher, or what if I have assigned something? What would that look like to the student? So you'll notice here on the top right corner, there would normally be a button that says classes. And so if the teacher has assigned anything, that button would be there. But since the teacher hasn't, by default, we are just in the TechQuest as a student. So let me go ahead and show you what that would look like if the teacher does assign something and the student has the option to choose from different classes. Okay, so here we are in another student. This student's name is Miguel, and we can see that he is in his homeroom class, and this is what it would look like if the teacher has already assigned some other assignments. These assignments may or may not overlap with some of the other assignments that are required for the SIPA compliance. So if you are going to be assigning yourself, make sure that you're looking at those buttons that I showed you about on our Midland ISD page on digital citizenship, just to know what lessons that the students are supposed to be taking for that specific grade that you are teaching. However, if you want them just to go through TechQuest, then what they can do is go up here. Here's the button that I was telling you about earlier that says classes. So they can click on the classes button. And as you can see here, the homeroom teacher has their own class, but as a class all on its own, there is the TechQuest. So TechQuest will be there as its own class on the side. And so if the teacher has assigned anything, that's what it'll look like. The student can actually choose between the assignments that the homeroom teacher is giving, or they can just go into TechQuest and take those default classes. So here we go. We can see there's the online safety and digital citizenship, some of the other digital citizenship lessons, the vocabulary, and the cyberbullying, whatever is specific to that grade. So that is what that would look like. Okay, now as I had said earlier, this tutorial is just to help everyone start to get into being SIPA compliant for October. And later on, we will have some more videos and tutorials about some of the adaptive keyboarding and other features inside of learning.com. But just for now, just so you know, you may have noticed once we switched in the classes to the TechQuest, there is a new button here that says Arcade, and that's always going to be there. And if the students click into the Arcade, they will have this adaptive keyboarding that they can basically practice with any time. Now, if I switch back into the homeroom class that has all of the lessons that the teacher assigned, you will see in there there is no Arcade, and that is because the teacher will have to assign that specifically to their class if they want the students to be able to do that adaptive keyboarding. So now I'm going to show you kind of what that might look like from the teacher side. Okay, here we are in the teacher view. Now, when you are a teacher and you first log into yourlearning.com, you will come to this home page that kind of lists out all of your classes. And you can see here on the top of this navigation menu at the top, I am on the classes tab. And what you can do is scroll through and look through your classes. I can click on view class. Each of the classes has this blue button that I can click to view just that class. And as you can see, a gradebook, that takes me to a gradebook section where I can look at all of my students and all of my class periods. And I can go to any of those class periods and look at those grades. Now, all of this is going to be blurred out because we don't want to show any of the student information, but that's what it would look like. But you might be wondering, because I had mentioned that the teacher does not have to assign anything for the students to take those classes, specifically just to be SIPA compliant. And so what I'm going to show you is how it would look. Now, if you're a teacher who does not have anything assigned and you just want your students to go through the TechQuest, well, you'll notice up here next to the classes tab, if we go over a couple of other buttons, there's the TechQuest. So we can click on TechQuest. And that opens up kind of its own gradebook, and we can kind of scroll through here and choose. You have to make sure that you choose your class period once again. And when we click on that class period, we can see just those lessons intended that the student will go through specifically for TechQuest, specifically to be SIPA compliant. And once again, they do not have to go through all of these. All you have to do is check on the buttons that I showed you at the beginning of the video to see how many of those lessons they need to go through to be SIPA compliant. But if you as a teacher want them to continue going through the TechQuest, that's just fine as well. So here we are back on the teacher homepage. If we just click into the library, I like to think of it as kind of like an online shopping cart where we can choose what types of sequences that we want to look through, what kind of lessons that we want to assign. And so I'm just going to pick a grade level here, and then we're going to look at the sequence. So there's a couple of different ones here. We've got the Digital Safety Foundation, and then we've got Texas Blended Learning, as well as a couple of others. And so the Texas blended learning is pretty much what we are recommending that teachers use. So I'm just going to click on that and then click Let's Go. And then you can see here are all of the different lessons. And this goes beyond just the SIPA compliance that is needed. These are all different kinds of lessons that you can assign that cover all kinds of things from digital citizenship to computational thinking and all of those other things. And the way you would assign those is you would just click on this plus. And then this allows you to go through a drop down to choose which, or if not all, of the classes that you want to assign that specific lesson to. But like I said, that's going beyond. We'll have some future tutorials on this, on making assignments in the future. For now, we just want you to get going with TechQuest so that they can be SIPA compliant. And we will see you next time.